It was supposed to be the kind of Saturday morning you forget by Monday. A suburban street alive with chatter, neighbors browsing tables stacked with used toys, books, and coffee mugs. But in the middle of the bargains, something unthinkable was hiding. While families sifted through clothes and kids tested bicycles, one man smiled, cracked jokes, and blended in seamlessly. No one guessed he was living a double life. No one guessed the garage sale was only part of his disguise. This is the story of the garage sale killer who hid in plain sight. Welcome to Maplewood Heights, a middle-class neighborhood on the edge of Indianapolis. Quiet cul-de-sacs, trimmed hedges, and a reputation for friendliness. It was the kind of place where neighbors borrowed sugar, shared lawnmowers, and rarely locked their doors. At the heart of the story was Dennis Callahan, a 42-year-old handyman. Dennis was known for his warm grin and his weekend garage sales. Every other Saturday, he'd roll up his garage door and offer bargain tools, vintage lamps, and dusty boxes of toys. Parents loved stopping by. Kids trusted him. But there was another side to Dennis Callahan, one no one ever saw coming. Dennis had grown up in the neighborhood and never left. People described him as dependable, maybe a little eccentric, but harmless. He fixed gutters, painted porches, and always seemed to have extra furniture to sell. But behind the scenes, inconsistencies were piling up. Why did Dennis never seem to keep steady work, yet always had cash? Why did so many of his items look personal, like things that belonged to other families nearby? One neighbor, Susan Harper, remembered asking, "Where do you get all this stuff?" Dennis laughed and said, "Storage auctions. You'd be amazed what people abandon." It sounded believable enough. Nobody pushed further. On July 18, 2015, the illusion cracked. That evening, police were called to a missing persons report. Angela Price, a 34-year-old single mother, had vanished after visiting a series of yard sales. Her car was found parked just 3 blocks from Dennis's house. Inside were her purse, wallet, and keys. It was as if she had simply stepped out and disappeared. The neighborhood was shaken. Flyers went up. Volunteers combed fields. But no trace of Angela emerged. Then, 1 week later, during Dennis's usual Saturday sale, a neighbor noticed something chilling. A children's bracelet for sale that looked exactly like Angela's daughter's. The neighbor brushed it off until police released surveillance footage. The footage came from a bank security camera across the street. It showed Angela walking up to Dennis's driveway the day she vanished. She smiled. He gestured toward a set of shelves. Then nothing. The footage ended. Angela never walked away. Detectives immediately descended on Dennis's property. At first glance, everything looked normal. Mismatched furniture, bins of DVDs, tools stacked on pegboards. But in the garage rafters, tucked behind insulation, they found something. A set of driver's licenses belonging to 3 different missing women from nearby counties. The investigation widened. Detectives cross-referenced old cold cases. Each woman had last been seen near community events, flea markets, yard sales, or swap meets. The pattern was unmistakable. Still, police needed more than circumstantial evidence. That came when they searched Dennis's backyard. Beneath a recently poured concrete slab, meant to look like a patio extension, cadaver dogs alerted. Excavation revealed human remains, later identified as Angela Price. The irony stunned everyone. While neighbors browsed his sales and kids rode bikes up his driveway, Dennis had been hiding evidence of murder just feet away. Forensic teams found DNA from 2 other women inside his garage on items he had cleaned and resold. Investigators concluded that Dennis had lured victims under the guise of helping them carry items inside. In 2017, Dennis Callahan was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. In court, prosecutors revealed the chilling detail. Dennis deliberately chose garage sales as his hunting ground because they felt safe. Who questions a neighbor selling lamps and books? The prosecutor asked. The defense argued that Dennis suffered from untreated personality disorders, that he was a hoarder turned obsessive. But the jury didn't buy it. The mountain of evidence, driver's licenses, DNA, remains under his patio, was impossible to ignore. After only 5 hours of deliberation, the jury returned a verdict: guilty on all counts. The judge sentenced Dennis to life without parole, calling him a predator who wrapped himself in the fabric of community trust. The neighborhood of Maplewood Heights was forever changed. Families who once strolled casually now double-checked locks and avoided yard sales. What had once been a symbol of small-town innocence was now tainted by fear. But Angela's family found some comfort. A local park was renamed Angela's Garden, a memorial filled with flowers and benches, reminding everyone of the lives cut short and the importance of vigilance. And perhaps the greatest irony? The community began hosting benefit garage sales, this time raising money for victim advocacy groups. Cases like this raise unsettling questions. How can someone so ordinary, so trusted, conceal something so monstrous? And how often do we overlook inconsistencies because they don't fit the picture we want to believe? Dennis Callahan hid in plain sight, smiling as he sold trinkets while hiding the darkest of secrets. Justice may have been served, but the scars remind Maplewood Heights, and all of us, that evil doesn't always look like a stranger. Sometimes it looks like the neighbor waving from his driveway. Click the like button, comment below, and follow.